unfortunately, this meeting is at the distance. I don't want to bother you much.
I do my best to keep to time, all times. But most times you see that the spirit is always willing, but the body sometimes. For the past 5 years, it has not been very easy with Imo people, even the labor inclusive. But we've been working as a family, facing all forms of turbulence, complaining when complaints are necessary and unavoidable, commending ourselves where we've done well. Among all the things we've gone through since we came in as a government, starting from insecurity to the famous COVID-19 pandemic, to the hardship created by the reform policies of our government at the center, the removal of fuel subsidy, the struggle and the argument with the labor over minimum wage, consequential adjustments, marginal difference and major differences. We tried as a government to always put it behind our mind that there's no how any government will do well if it doesn't have a friendly and cordial relationship with the organized labor. And knowing that, I've always addressed the labor force as the engine room of government. So when we speak and say government and labor are working together, they're not working together. It's one body, one flesh, one spirit. So this administration has always believed that we must stimulate political and economic activities, carrying the bureaucrats along and making sure that the welfare of our workers is highly respected. We encourage labor unions to work together, to be more united, because it is only when they are united that they can even do their job well. And also it will be easy for government to relate with them through leadership. So it is in our mind that the working environment should be improved upon, and that our workers should be able to live a life that should be worthy of emulation, and that dignity of service should be restored in our civil service. And the machinery of government can only run better if the workers are not distracted. We know that over the years, the government has not really carried the citizenry the way they should carry them, workers inclusive. But we also had hope that there is room for improvement. The removal of fuel subsidy has raised the cost of living in Nigeria. as much as it has its own advantages, it came also with some advantages, disadvantages. But it is a thing of joy that we have started seeing the dividends of that bold decision of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to remove fuel subsidy. What government is confronted with now is how to ensure that the dividends of that policy trickles down to the common man on the street. It is on that note that in Imo State, the government which I preside over have looked at all the variables and decided that we have to work hard to carry along to make sure that this money, the additional earnings we are getting from not only that the IGR, internally generated revenue, have grown. In 2020, when I came in here, our IGR was less than 400 million. As we speak, our IGR is in excess of 3 billion a month. In 2020, we were receiving allocations in between 5, 6, 7 billion naira. But as we speak, allocation comes in excess of 13 to 14 billion. In 2020, Imo State records in debt management for our debt profile was 280-something billion naira. As I speak, it's less than 100 billion naira. I'm going this far to explain to you so that we recognize and recall where we're coming from and where we're going to. When we were here in 2020, the major infrastructure, both roads, in every sector of the economy, were totally collapsed and broken down. You see our efforts in restoring critical infrastructure in Imo State. See how much money we have spent in rebuilding our roads, managing traffic. And we're talking about how much we have spent in confronting insecurity. If I have 50% of the money I've spent fighting insecurity, Imo State will be like Dubai by now. But everything comes with temptation in life, and we have to face it. When the labor leadership met with me on the issue of minimum wage, I assured them that I'm not supposed to be reminded that workers must feed well and live well. That let us work together. It's already business. If things become good, it will touch all of us. If we are challenged and sacrifice is required, all of us will make the sacrifice. When the issue of promotion was very, very at the front burner, we didn't have money to promote people that have not been promoted for over 14, 15 years. I called this head of chairman Civil Service Commission and head of service then. In that my meeting with them, they made one comment, one logic that caught my attention, that sometimes promotion is not about the salary. The promotion is about those who have worked for years that deserve to be promoted. And I didn't know that in their rules they have provision for every situation. That was how I came to know about notional and non-notional. And I said, okay, bring it, I will approve. And I approved it. Now, all our hospitals, health centers are run down by our own people because those managing these hospitals claim that government is not paying them well. For that reason, almost all the government doctors have their own private clinics. 70% of drugs we buy in the market are also fake drugs. So our helpless citizens are dying, submitting to avoidable deaths. So under my watch, government will be charged for murder if you allow your citizens submit to avoidable deaths. So we have carried out a major reform in the health sector. We are trying to ensure world-class health facilities are available in Imo State for our people to be treated. All over the world, quality medical care, very expensive and sometimes not easily accessible. That is why the introduction of health insurance scheme. By the grace of God, we were able to enroll our civil servants. But after enrollment, we have to make sure that quality service, the equipments, the facilities are available. We are doing our best to revolutionize the health service delivery, healthcare delivery in Imo State. I urge all of us to please commit to that health insurance program. Not only for yourself, for your relatives, because that is the surest way of making quality health care accessible. Cognizance of the fact that our efforts have started yielding dividends and that our IGR has improved and the reform policies of Mr. President has also made our allocations to be on the increase, meaning that more money are now available to subnational governments. Every responsible government must be transparent about it. So we have to address the major challenges starting from the civil and public servants in the state to those of us who are not working for government. We have a federation project of Mr. President that now requires that 1,000 active businesses must be created in each INEC ward in Nigeria. We are now enrolling 1,000 names per ward. The Nigerian Labour Congress, I am the chairman of the committee nationally. But for you workers, your leadership have already taken your slot. I'm sure they will be contacting your people. So, yeah. So the last meeting we had with the NSC president and his team, and I'm sure they will call you people to a meeting and give you your slots. We want to do an inclusive thing that will involve, there's nothing as a civil servant. You can create a small business by the side. You can have a pineapple orchard. can have a fish pond, can have a piggery, or anything you do as a civil servant, just to create a value chain for yourself. So that is addressing the informal sector. But we have looked at our state. It's not every time the NLC chairman will be talking consequential adjustment and all that and that. We are coming up with a proposal that will go beyond your imagination as a salaries in Imo State. So before this time, the entry point for medical doctors in Imo State was 215,000, and the highest point was 503,000 for those that are qualified under commerce consolidated. But going forward now, and let me tell you, we are doing this hoping that, because anything worth doing is worth doing well, we will not tolerate unethical practices. Redundancy has no place. That you come to work and then 2 hours you go to a clinic will not be tolerated. If government is paying you, you must work for government. So I expect the service to come with a dignity that is not common, so that we that are making the sacrifice will also have reason to beat our chest and say, at least we did the will of God. So now for doctors in Imo State, entry point will be 538,000. And the height of it, the ending point should be 1.2 million. Those of you that are under CONHES, the entry point before was 77.6 thousand, and the end point was 502,000. But going forward now, your entry point will be 108,000, and your end point will be 803,000. Those of you on CONNUAS, the lecturers, the university, tertiary people, your entry point was 119,000, the end was 436,000. Going forward, your entry point now will be 222,000, and your end point will be 812,000. Those of you on Contis, entry point was 79,000 and end point was 416,000. Your entry point now will be 121,303 and the end point will be 634,000. Comcast, entry point was 115,000, end point was 434,000. But going forward now, entry point will be 175,000 and end point will be 662,000. Count this, which used to be 79,000 as entry point, and end point was 342,000, will now be 109,000 and end point 471. HAPS with MDS and all that, which is what used to be called the minimum wage and all that, should be now, instead of 76,000 presently and 275, we will now move it as entry point, which is the minimum, 104,000. And then the end point will be 431,000. HAPS, SEMP, this is the teachers, 76,000 was the entry point, and 275,000 was the end point. And now it's starting with 104,000 and endpoint 446,000. The non-teaching staff, that was also 76,000 and endpoint 275, will now start on 104,000 and endpoint 431,000. Superb teachers, 76,000 starting point before to 275 will now be 104,000 starting point and 441,000. The non-teaching staff of Superb, that was 76,000 before, 275,000, will now be 104,000 and endpoint will be 431,000. In doing this, we made observations. When we say commerce, we know what the law means about commerce. So many of you that were hiding under commerce, that doesn't have the certificate of to qualify, we have dropped your names to the right place you belong. The same thing with CONHES. All the consolidated salaries, those who are not qualified to be in those consolidated salary arrangements, who before this time went through back door into those areas, we have opened the main door for them to go outside. So now, for our senior citizens, we met gratuity of 20-something years. By the time we computed it, it was in excess of 65 billion. All verified workers, totaling 65 billion that we presented. We started paying. The last batch, which is totaling 16 billion, will be paid from tomorrow. If we do that, it means that the issue of gratuity in Imo State is now settled. And going forward, all the pensioners will pass through the process of audit called I'm Alive. If you are now a pensioner, going forward, you have to go to the office of the Accountant General and obtain the protocol for I'm Alive with your bankers and central bank. And all the workers in Imo State Civil Service who think that those they filled when they were employed as next of kin are no longer their next of kin, please go to the head of service and change. Let us know who is your next of kin. We are not going to wait for probate. Assuming a man dies, we don't know when we will die. All of us will die one day. But if you know who is going to take your entitlements when you are not there, the reason for that next of kin is for you to write the real person whoever it is should be written so that we don't have to come back to you. We don't have to make you go through courts and all these tortuous routes to get your issues resolved. We will now give you opportunity to go back if you have any need for a change, or the person you wrote before is no longer alive, or whatever. You put it so we can automate this thing, so that we save you the trouble, save your family the trouble of going from one court to another. Now, having said that, to whom much is given, much is expected. If you are a civil servant who goes every day to a corner, and when it's time for salary, go to secretariat, you must stop. We are going to install clock in and clock out. And the meaning of that is that there is no human being to do any work. The computer will compute when you came to work. And our own system is not the one you can clock in and go out and then come back in the evening. Our own system have a sustainable tracking of your activities in the office. So if you leave for 2 hours, it will remove 2 hours from your time. At the end of the month, whatever the computer brings out is your salary. So if you want a complete salary, you have to work. So we have to do this. It's above what you ask for minimum wage. It's above what federal government approved. We have computed this, praying that God will give us the strength to sustain it as long as we remain here, and then expect you to put value addition. Because if we are paying this kind of money, we should get value. So when you sit down and see somebody removing electricity pole of government, and you think you are not the government, you are not doing it right. When you break the computer in your office and think it doesn't belong to anybody, you are not doing it right. It is the money that we will use to replace those things that we are now using to increase the salaries of our workers. I want IMO workers, when you go out there, you look different from other states. So this is what we have done, and I will speak with the chairman, Civil Service Commission, to ratify all those multiple promotions, and going forward, this is the payment arrangement. We will be able to keep it. So,
there can be no one breaker anywhere being this song. Yet one force on earth is weaker than the feeble strength of one. For the union men so strong. Solidarity is forever. Saying solidarity forever. Saying solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. We are not surprised to have an invitation from His Excellency. Say, there is victory for us. Victory, there is victory for us. In the struggle, for our members, there is victory for us. Forward, forward. Sit. On behalf of the entire workforce in Imo State, I our prayer is that this God who has given you this human feeling, who has given you the capacity to come to rescue the people of Imo State, will continue to keep you for us in Jesus' name. Yes, I also want to say that the entire 36 states, including Abuja, Imo State is now paying the highest minimum wage. Yes, you don't know how I feel this night. In fact, it was when you are rolling out these figures, I was asking whether Your Excellency was once a labor person. Because we have mentioned the names and the categories of how the salaries were appropriated as if you work with National Salary and Wages Commission. It means Your Excellency have the capacity. It means Your Excellency have given us the opportunity to interact and discuss with you. I'm not surprised, Your Excellency, because I know when your last second general election, you scored 27 over 27, which have never happened before in Imo. I was keen, all of us are keen watching to hear the speech and acceptance speech. Your first stance was to labor. Your second stance was to labor. Your third stance was to labor. And since then, some of our colleagues outside the state have been asking us. Others have implemented, people have implemented what is going on. And I'm glad to surprise and shock them that in our next meeting, I was trying to challenge. My secretary is here. We went to Adamawa. They almost used Imo as a topic for discussion on the minimum wage. We spent 3 days on the road when we are discussing about it. We came back and said, we will continue to support this government because you have assured us, even in the minimum wage we had the negotiation. We never write a letter to you. You invited us. And we had a smooth discussion. And as we agreed, you have came to that. I remember Your Excellency that we insisted that we want to start by December. And when you begin to tell us what you have as a plan, we have to change and said we will start it by January against the directive of the national leadership. And we stood by it. And I want to thank you, Your Excellency, for not making us to feel that that decision we took was a very wrong one. Today, no worker in Imo will say that this government has not been fair to us. Yes, I want to tell you and I want to assure you that labor does not support ineffectiveness. Labor does not support somebody who is not doing his work. Head of service, please, want to appeal to you. From now till next week, we are going to address the workers of Imo State. And we want to tell you that labor is going to be the monitoring team in making sure that this gesture, that this free gift, that this wonderful package you have for workers of Imo State will not be in vain. It's an assurance to you, Your Excellency. So we are telling you, go to sleep, that this love you have shown us, we must reciprocate it by being effective in our work, by making sure that we do our work and do it diligently. Having entry point of level 1, step 1, I believe the consequential adjustments have been done. it means that we have entry point as the worst the one Imo, as 104,000 as our entry point. Once again, thank you, Excellency. As if that is not even enough, you extended this law to our retirees. Your Excellency, in my house, I have a file. Those of them, I don't know the thing, and feel that maybe when the NLC chairman, TC chairman passes, that they have the governor around him, they will take the chair. And I've always assured them and said that they should not be worried. You did the first one and they assured us. And I know that this second one, which is the final one, is going to cushion a lot of effect. Yes, agreed. Over 20-something years ago, some of these workers have retired. You can think that the value for what they're receiving might not be much. A lot of them, Your Excellency, depend on drugs. So if this gratuity is paid to them, if they are supposed to live for 10 years, some of them will live for 25, 30 years now. Because they will now fall back to have something that will sustain them to take drugs. So I want to say, God will bless you, Your Excellency. On behalf of the leadership of the pensioners, I know the chairman is here. Chair. I know you will say something. Only going home because they have gotten the good news. He's going home because he's going to pass this message to his members, and they're going to have a sign of big relief that God have answered their prayers. Excellency, thank you very much. And we have nothing much to tell you than we want to assure you that we are going to support the government. We are going to be with you. We are going to assure you that at any point in time, that there's a need for us to have an interaction with you. We will always do that. Yes, Excellency, there are a lot of things that we could have said, but for the sake of time, we will appeal that you give us an audience to have that interaction with all of us, so that it will also help us. For the sake of these people who are looking at us here, who feel that maybe I'm not going to discuss anything too private. It's for the good of the workers of Imo State. So we can be on the same page and got all this right. Thank you, God,
for this bold step. I have actually identified your government with the government as a government that has that political will to take up very strong projects. And this is one of them. Representing Imo workers, we have been here since 2 p.m. because you called and we answered. Anytime you call, be rest assured, we will still answer. But I have one appeal to make. You know, reading out the figures, they were sweet. But I think the way to help us to achieve these things and defend them is for us to have a salary table so that everybody will know where they fall in. I think that will help us immensely. And like my sister chairman here has said, we will plead for some other time to talk more in details. I think that will help us in the way forward. So on behalf of our industrial unions under the TUC, I want to thank Your Excellency for this opportunity. Thank everybody here, and same may God bless all of us.
And that you will not touch it. And today you have shown that you are a man of your own way. Wake up, brother. Before you came, However, many people now, there are many people love taking advantage of pension and gratuity unit to build their houses, do so many things. But since you can, you have changed the scenario. Today, you have shown that you're a man of your word. Your Excellency, we never asked you to pay gratuity. On your own volition, you started paying. And I wouldn't know how next to express it. You are making millionaire. Each time you pay, you see many people having millions. Those that have never known millions in their life. And the one you are going to pay from tomorrow, you are also going to make millions. You are wonderful. You are very, very wonderful. A man to follow at all times. Well, you see that even my national headquarters has already said you are the best governor of the year. And that they are coming down here in Imo State to prove that to the world, that you are the best president governor for the pensioners. If you accept, all these people here will equally be invited to be witnesses to what will happen that day. All of them. And we are choosing October 10th, Senior Citizens Day, so that you know that the beggar and in and day. You are wonderful. We thank you. I thank you on behalf of my people. You see, when they go to the air, they write petitions, they say all manner of things, I will tell them, why, be patient. This man who started this work will surely complete. And today, we are talking of the very last batch of gratuity to Imo State pensioners. And what will happen is that henceforth, as people retire, they are keyed into the system and they collect their gratuity. This is the way it's happening only here in Anambra, no other state in the whole federation. But Professor Soludo has started using it now as punishment for those who don't want to vote for him. Hello? Our governor, Mereka Wani. We don't have much to give. But what will give you is only people's blessing. They can pension at home when they 100 years, or when they 90, when they 100 plus. Ige Reba na good day is good, and we want to thank you. Other things like our chairman and as a chairman, where we are affiliated, have said, we will tell you later. You have done enough, and we commend you. We will continue to thank you. We will continue to praise you. We will continue to speak your name, tell your name to everybody like here. Whoever that wants to see good, let them come to Imo State. Hallelujah. Thank you.
Afolomi Uzodimma Echeta. I am the chairman of Nigeria Medical Association, NMA, Imo State. It will be a disservice that I didn't speak in this meeting today. And it will be a sign of ingratitude on the side of NMA. Because most of the lofty things you've done for your labor force are really domiciled in my own constituency. Because a healthy population is a better workforce, and a healthy population is a wealthy population. Your Excellency, you've done so much in the health sector, and you've shown that you are a listening leader. There was a time, there was a fraction in Ministry of Health where there are two captains and one ship. Your Excellency, you can really notice with me that that ship was sailing adrift then. You united that ministry under the leadership of a highly workaholic commissioner in the name of Dr. Choma Egu. And under her leadership, she has helped this administration achieve so much. I took a trip of the specialist hospital. What I saw could not be explained. I equally took a trip to IMSUD, and I really was awed over what I saw. Now, the Imo State Health Insurance Agency is another wonderful project you have embarked on, which is highly capital intensive. And it makes me to believe that this governor does not shy away from big projects. Now, all these things you've been doing in the health, there was a promoter's hand trying to shadow the effect, and that was poorly remunerated and motivated workforce. Over time, this month, we have been meeting, we have been gathering our arsenal, how to fight the government, both at the local and at the national. It will interest you to know that on 30th, we are going to streamline where to put our arrow, where to put our armored APC to fight governments all over the federation over poor remuneration of doctors and other health workers. But Your Excellency, I don't know whether it's juju or I don't know what you use, because you have disarmed us and stopped the fight even before we should discuss this thing. So that is why when I remember that you are also Uzodimma, I am very, very happy. It is in our blood to disarm our enemies. So thank you, Mr. Governor. I want to tell you that doctors are shy of publicity. We normally function better in that our small rooms and privacy. I wish you will grant us opportunity to come and appreciate you for what you have done for medical sector in Imo State. We will be so happy to see that day. We will come with our drums, with our trumpets, to sing your praises because you've done so well. It didn't start today. Even last year, when we hosted the whole Nigeria, you bankrolled that for us. And we have been looking for the way to your house and your office. No person is trying to show us the way. Maybe one of these days, in your magnanimity, you will tell us how to locate you, to appreciate you. And you said, and it is true, to whom more is given, more is expected. Even we have already decided in our OGM, that's the ordinary general meeting, that should we try to plead with the governor to increase salary of doctors that will really work for our pay. And if we work for our pay, definitely it will be more money in the coffers of the government to even pay more. The era of signing and going will be over. We'll assure you that. We will do that. Thank you, sir. And God bless you. And in all you want to do for the health needs of Imo Light, NMA is there to partnership with you, even in manpower. When you get your feasibilities ready, the manpower NMA will get it from the least to the highest. We'll appreciate you, sir. And we will come with our ordering to say thank you, should we find a way to your house. Thank you, sir.
The Honorable Commissioner for Labor, Employment and Productivity. And what is happening here tonight is happening in my own ministry. And I think it is fit and proper for me to say a word of gratitude. Decades. And I've never seen in the history of labor relations where we are awarded a first agitated for it. It has never. So I have every cause to, on behalf of the workers and my ministry, that this thing has been done for, to say, Your Excellency, thank you very, very much. In the few months I've spent in this ministry, I've been inundated with series of letters from the labor, organized level, these labor union officers who are here. Some of them are forwarded to you, some are still with me. But with what has happened tonight, all those issues have already been addressed. And their letters to you through me are of no effect. They are now null and void. And then it's true of us. So I want to also say that we are lucky somewhat in this state because of the quality of the leadership of labor in this state. They are very responsible. They are very, very understanding. Your Excellency, you are aware of the fact that on 2 different occasions, there were to be national strikes by different unions. And when we heard of it, I interfaced with them with the company of your estate on level. We called them and said, look, you are working with a labor-friendly governor, and he has done so well for you workers. How would you pay him? How would you pay him back with evil when he has been doing good to you people? We don't need to be part of this strike since there is nothing. Okay, so that's right. So they try to show that they have a lot of love and interest in the governor of this state. So with what has happened tonight, I'm sure that, Your Excellency, you have saved me a whole lot of trouble. When I was coming to this place, this new ministry, my colleagues in the university said, BG, how are you going to cope with these labor unionists? You know, better get yourself a helmet too, otherwise they'll break your head before you come. But I'm sure with what His Excellency has done for the workers tonight, for the next 2 years, I can go and relax in my office because there won't be anything to agitate for again. On that note, Your Excellency, I say thank you very much.